Hey guys, Adam here. And in this video, what I'd like to do is compare the pricing of the individual players between DraftKings and FanDuel to see if there are some big discrepancies in the pricing between the two sites. And I like doing this because a lot of people, you'll hear analysts all the time give their opinion about, oh, he's priced too low or he's priced too high. And what I like to do, everyone calls himself an expert, and some people are actually really good at it. But what I like to do is uh, see what the people who are getting paid to set the prices for DraftKings and FanDuel, what they're doing, and see between the two sites if there are discrepancies on a certain player, and maybe that can give us an edge where maybe other people aren't seeing that. And so, just real quick, let me show you kind of how this operates. It's kind of cool. I wrote a little script. Like I said, I'm a programmer at heart. I like writing programs. This is Perl. You don't need to know that. And what I do is I take the CSVs for DraftKings and FanDuel, I build a little script, I combine them, and you get a nice little thing that looks like this, right? So like Jonathan Taylor, it shows his position, his team, his DK salary, his FanDuel salary. You have to remember that FanDuel, you have 10,000 more in salary. And so the FanDuel equivalent salary is basically you have to take this number and multiply it by 5/6, 50,000 over 60,000, which is the salary. And so what you'll actually see is Jonathan Taylor, for instance, if this 10,200 FanDuel, if he was on DraftKings, would be 8,500. So you're actually getting him at a 6.5% discount compared to DraftKings. And so that's kind of the formula or how we kind of look at things. And with that said, let's look at some of the highest differentials on both sites. So I'm going to show you is the highest discounted players on DraftKings compared to FanDuel, and then we'll flip it around and look at the highest discounted players on FanDuel when compared to DraftKings. And so let's start at DraftKings first. And at the quarterback position, it's it's Daniel Jones. Now you may not like Daniel Jones, but think about this. He's at a 5,000 salary on DK compared to 7,100 on FanDuel. And that's a pretty steep discount there. The question is, and you'll see this with all of these players, is he just underpriced on the one site, or is he just overpriced on the site where he's has too much? And so, is he 7,100 just too much on FanDuel, or are you really getting a steal at DK? I feel like 5,000 is a little bit underpriced, and so he may be worth a look, especially against Tennessee. It's not the best matchup, but it is. He's priced with the backup quarterbacks, which is kind of interesting. You'll see on the skill positions, FanDuel is generally softer pricing. That's just how they operate. And that means if you can find any discount at the skill positions, running back and wide receiver on DraftKings, you need to pay attention to this. And Najee Harris fits that bill. There weren't many running backs on DraftKings that were cheaper than their DraftKings counterpart, but Najee is one of them. He's 8,200 on FanDuel, but 6,400 on DraftKings. That's a 6% discount, which is honestly, it's pretty significant. And my guess is the field's going to be on Najee. He's going to be 15 to 20% owned. Again, we're looking at this a week out, but my guess is this is an underprice, and this is about fair. So Najee is someone to look out for on DraftKings. Rondale Moore, this is a really interesting play here. Also, only 4,000 on DK. Definitely without DeAndre Hopkins there, he has the potential to do big things. I think the FanDuel salary is more about appropriate, so you're getting him at a little bit of a discount there on DK. And staying in the wide receiver position, also Michael Pittman, who's 7,200 on FanDuel, but only 5,500 on DK. Again, you're getting a nice little discount there. Again, I have a high suspicion that he's going to come in highly owned. So you need to factor those into your lineups. At the tight end position, there were a couple of them. Hunter Henry is one of them, but the one I wanted to call it was Gerald Everett. He's 5,200 on FanDuel, but only 3,800 on DK. You're getting a little bit of a lower priced tight end who is filling. I think he's filling the Jared Cook role. I don't know. I haven't been watching the Chargers and how they're going to use him and Donald Parham, but he's capable in a Justin Herbert offense. So 3,800 might be a good place to make a stand. The defense, this is a really interesting one. There's the Bears playing. I think they're playing San Francisco with Trey Lance, and DK priced Chicago at like the bare minimum almost. And this just seems like a smash play. This feels about correct. 3,800 on FanDuel, and this just feels egregiously low. But I have a feeling I'm just thinking that Chicago's going to probably be highly owned, and I never play highly owned defenses. I just fade them. I almost outright fade defenses. But if Chicago comes in with a low ownership, let's say sub 10%, this is a smash play. I really do think that. Again, I don't normally play like 50% of a defense. I don't do that, but I will be playing the Bears if they come in low owned. On the FanDuel side, again, just flipping the script on here, Herbert's salary is only 800 to 1 FanDuel versus the 7,600 on DK, and so Herbert's actually a really good play on FanDuel. You're getting about 8, almost an 8% discount playing. I mean, he's obviously in a good matchup, in a good environment, and all that stuff. So he's someone I would definitely look out for. There's a couple running backs I want to call. Remember, you have much softer pricing on FanDuel, and so there's potential to find some steeper discounts. These are two that I really want to call out. Dalvin Cook, both these players I actually like on DraftKings. I think these prices, I think Cooks is a little low. Remember last year he was going upwards of 9K. I feel like this is low. And the fact that you get him for only 8,400 on FanDuel, it's probably going to come in high owned. I'm just going, it's just the way it is. But this seems like a really, really good play. And I think CEH is also an interesting play. The game environment is just as it was with Rondale Moore. Like, it's just a really good environment. I feel like 5,400 is a fair price for him, given some of the uncertainty in the backfield. And you're getting him at a 10% discount on FanDuel. Seems like a play to potentially attack. On the wide receiver, I got another pair for you. Again, softer pricing on FanDuel. These two players, I wanted to call them out because they seem to be decent plays in their own right, but they're exactly the same price between DraftKings and FanDuel, which means you're getting them at a very significant discount. I feel like Mike Williams at 6,600 is a little bit too high. I probably am going to shy away. I'm going to be playing Herbert Sex most likely, but this just feels like a little bit high of a price for Mike Williams. But on FanDuel, obviously, with that discount, this seems a little bit low, actually. And then the Robert Woods, I feel like this is actually a fair price. Obviously, some uncertainty with, is he going to be the wide receiver one? Is he going to be okay coming off the ACL, et cetera? But if all those things check out, this is a really, really good price. And you can get a sneaky player at a very low price with, 20, 30 point upside easily, even in FanDuel. It's a tight end position, and you'll see this. Typically, DraftKings prices the upper echelon tight ends high compared to FanDuel, but they have a very low floor on DraftKings compared to FanDuel. And so the discounts between the two sites typically are at the low end on tight end in DraftKings and at the high end in FanDuel. And this week's no different. Kittle and Pitts both are in. I think these are fairly fair prices. Pitts feels a little overpriced to me. Kittle was going, was he like 7K at one point last season? Even with Trey Lance, I think this is a really good play. And for him to only be 200 more on FanDuel, I think this is like a really big. This is a really big advantage, a place to attack. And I feel the same about Pitts. I feel like 6,000 is about okay for Pitts. Probably just not going to play him in DK, much to my own detriment. And then on the defenses, there were no egregiously underpriced plays in FanDuel, which I'm pretty impressed with. The Browns and the Colts are probably, even though there is a discount, it's a small discount, take it or leave it. These were the two best discounted defenses on FanDuel. So I wanted to call them out, but again, this is it's not that much of a discount. And that's it. I don't think anyone's putting out this kind of content comparing the two sites. And so I hope this information was helpful and relevant. And if it's helpful, maybe we will do this every week. And hope that it was good. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.